February 25th, 12:06, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Hello everyone, Triple S back as more Phoenix Wright History Trilogy. Last time, wow, we found out that Emma Skye apparently pushed Neil Marshall to his death because she thought, in a flash of lightning, that it was Joe Dark standing over Neil Marshall holding a broken knife, so she pushed the person with the knife, thinking it was Joe Dark and thinking she was saving Neil Marshall, but apparently she actually pushed Neil Marshall onto a suit of armour holding a very sharp and dangerous sword, which should not really be just standing out in the open like that. The sword should be at least covered if it's that sharp to stab someone. But oh my god, apparently she did that. So, and then the courtroom just erupted into chaos and the judge has to call a recess, so let's see what happens now. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Oh yeah, and then Gant stepped in saying, well, forged evidence from Lana Skye, she moved the body and so it didn't come out that Emma killed Neil, it actually was Joe Dark, so they might have... Even though Joe Dark wasn't actually innocent, because apparently he did actually kill people, he got sent down for not actually killing Neil Marshall, so everyone went mad. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Look at the cheeky! Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. You should at least study some evidence law, really. The Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped into pockets. I want to actually have a look at this because it's really cute. Oh, I can't actually look at it. Rule number 1, evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial, and that's all we get, just those 2 rules. I wish I'd actually look at it, but look at the chickie on the front, because I think there's actually another chicken on the back, but anyway, doesn't look like that book will do you any good now though. All that's left now is the Chief Prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today, hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? We're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 12:52, District Court, Courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honour. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honour. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. you think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honour. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defence to call forth all further witnesses. What? There's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defence accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defence may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realise this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defence calls... The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant's. The defence calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As a defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honour? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting Chief of Police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto! What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The Chief of Police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. SL9 incidents. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, I'd better hit him hard and fast. So, I'm pretty sure there's only 2 testimonies for this video. This one is incredibly short. The next one might drag, but we'll see. So I've got to go to statement 5. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we present... Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. This. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar for example. That's that blue badge you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief GANT'S, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief GANT'S, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? What do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Thank God Gumshoe came with us, because if not, then that would have been really bad. He would have said, nope, those are fakes and you can't prove otherwise, and that would have just been thrown out completely. Thank God Gumshoe came with us to his office. Anyway, pretty sure this is the last testimony, but we'll see. For this video, at least. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honour? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though, I know, that place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Probably talking about where to go swimming. Okay, we're going to go to Statement 5 again. So there's no reason I participate in a forgery. 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh. That's actually Statement 4, or did I accidentally skip forward? I think this is the right one. We'll see if the guide's got it right or not. Press. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Yep, the guy got it wrong. Okay. I'm pretty sure they meant for me to press this statement. Oops. Not oops for me, it's the guy being wrong. Really, Chief GANT'S? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would of course be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of this online incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. This guy won't do anything for anyone else. Yeah, don't be silly, Worthy, you know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I, yep. There, it's out in the open now. Udgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Okay, that's the one I was supposed to press. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Oh, we press this one. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl. Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice. Sure, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the Chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Well, of course, that is Lana Skye. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye? The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would require unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? God damn it, Judge. Oh wait! You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that it's also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honour, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the Chief of Police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible! Your Honour, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in Easy to Understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Okay, where is it? Where is it? ID card record. His number. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 77777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits. You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honour. The code was 77777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order, order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defence's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? Chief, I don't get, why don't he just say it's just a coincidence that my number is the same as this ID card that was used, it doesn't mean it's actually mine. I don't get why he doesn't say that. What about it? I'm Chief of Police, prefix the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honour. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. It really didn't give me a chance to read it all before I popped this thing up. Parking stub, the note, where is it? Lost item reports, that one. It cannot be given. Yeah, Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you're in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Excuse me, sorry, I'm being really burpy right now. Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No. I don't know why he gets struck by lightning, but he does. Chief Gant, you didn't. Murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief GANT'S, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. The parking stub. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth. You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it in here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Boom. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Or your boot, as we say here in Britain. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defence's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant's, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I'd land and dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honour, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? No, I don't. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honour, at present I have no conclusive evidence. Huh. COG. That case, this court is forced to penalise you for your allegations against the Chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, OG, I'll leave the rest to you. Damn it, he's gone. I was waiting for someone to say hold it or something. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Oh. Lady Luck, huh? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honour of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Huh. Why are you asking me, Your Honour? Have you forgotten? The defence is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honour. Defence calls forth... Lana Skye. The defendant? Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 PM on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honour. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant's? I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. February 25th, 2:04 PM, District Court, Defendant, Lobby number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Teddy Gumshoe. Haha, I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotty girl you used to work with. What do you mean? Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all, just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. God almighty, I just got a text message that scared the crap out of me. Oh, what do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders? She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now, I knocked Mr. Marshall into the armour. I see. Well, we'd better get back, it's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No. I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued! Oh! Wow, okay. So Gant is a dick. Sorry for the harsh language, but we all know that now. And he's refused to testify. So you can guarantee that he'll want to testify next time, but he won't be allowed to. I mean, that's pretty much obvious. And hopefully, Lana will be able to tell us the truth. But still, I'm thinking of the fact that he says, your sister, well, she'll be, you know, convicted for the murder of Neil Marshall. It's like, really? She was a kid. She's still a kid, and she was a kid. And she was confused, and she thought it was Joe Dark she was pushing because it was dark. You know, not him, but it was dark because the power was out. It was pitch black. I'll say that. That's better. She thought it was Joe Dark because it was pitch black. It was an accident. An accident. How can she be sent to prison for that? Or even if she did get sent to prison, it won't even be for that long of a time because it was accidental. I mean, you know? But I don't know. I'm not a judge or a prosecutor or an attorney or a lawyer or anything like that. So, anyway, next time will be the final part of this case and of this game. Let's see what happens and let's see what Lana says. Let's see how it all goes down. So, thank you all for watching. I shall see you all next time. Goodbye. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you decide to subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing, and ding that bell to be the first to hear about my new videos. Thanks again, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.